Hey guys, Dr. Mike Deuce at MTFUcoach.com. Here we are in my office. I want to talk a little bit about aging. Listen, aging sucks. It's very easy to get pessimistic and down about aging. Several years ago when I started the company MTFU, I was sitting with my marketing consultant. We were on the Gold Coast in Connecticut. It's a very high income area. We were sitting in a coffee shop. We were going over stuff, and we saw this guy walking outside. He was probably about 50 years old, was probably wearing a $5,000 suit, had the briefcase, he was trudging along, he looked terrible, haggard, he was probably 50, but he presented as 75, he was hunched over, bad posture, terrible look on his face. Maybe he was going through a divorce, maybe his kids don't talk to him, I don't know, maybe he won the lotto, who knows, but he definitely didn't project as a happy person. If I were to write about a patient like that in my chart, I would say patient presents as much older than their stated age. So look, I say, our average age is 50 at MTFU. I like to start at 40 because that's when a lot of the degradative changes start to occur in your body, most of which can be successfully fought against if you're fastidious about yourself and how you treat yourself, and your diet, your nutrition, your supplements, your exercise, all that stuff, and your elimination of most bad habits. Because a lot of people think they can outrun or out-train bad habits such as smoking, drinking, drugging, economy of movement, all that stuff. It's a vicious cycle. It's not how it works. I'm going to talk about 3 supplements that are good for when you're 40 and above. But first of all, I'm going to tell you now, look, a lot of people I work with, one guy's 100 pounds overweight, and the first thing he asked me was, what should I do for supplements? I go, absolutely nothing. This guy has never trained. Listen, I'm not speaking disparagingly. These are just facts. He's just a mess. He can't even really, he writes down what he eats. It's hardly nothing. Why? Because his metabolism's already shot. So somebody like that, we don't talk about supplements. You've got to get your food straight, your whole food straight. He's so overweight, it's very easy for him to lose 30 pounds right away. And once we get down closer to baseline, and we're a little more controlled, and he could tell his body's response to the things he's eating, then we talk about supplements. We think about putting in some supplements. Supplements mean in addition to whole foods. Nothing ever beats whole foods. However, the way food is produced now, depending upon where you shop and how you eat, it's awfully hard to get all of the nutrients you need from whole foods. So really, that being said, you've got to look at your goal and what you're trying to do, where you're starting at, where you want to go to. You've got to be realistic. Number one for people over 40, a protein supplement. We're talking about whole foods: chicken, fish, tuna, turkey, lean red meats, eggs, beans, legumes. Those are all high, good sources of protein. Some people have issues with that. Some people have eating styles or eating disorders that disallow them from getting enough protein. Supplements come into play. When you're getting older, first of all, starting from the age of 30 up, each decade you're losing 6 to 8% of your muscle mass. By the time you're 70 or 80, you've lost about half of it. Why is that bad? People think, doc's just talking about muscles, he's talking about posing on the beach. Has nothing to do with that. The musculoskeletal system is muscles attached to bones throughout the body. You start losing muscle, they start withering away. The bones don't have as much of a reason to maintain their viability or their strength or their density anymore. So you get brittle bone disorder. Women over the age of 80 who fall and break their hip, within 2 years, 50% of them die. Why? Not directly because of the fracture, but the sequela and the avalanche of associated things that occur. You're dead, you die. It's a lot like, you'll see a lot of elderly die from something called pneumonia, even though the actual cause was a disease process. Why pneumonia? Well, because they're laying there sedentary and the fluid sequesters and rests in the lungs, and that's what kills them. So again, you got to move, you've got to feed your muscles protein to maintain viability, and you can still build. You've got to remember your hormonal system is depleted, your energy, your ability to synthesize protein is decreased. The list goes on and on. But a good protein supplement, my friend Igor Selzner, we were talking about him earlier today, I got an article about him. Good, smart, young guy, owns a supplement company, he's doing really well. Celsius Nutrition, I'm not going to endorse his protein powder, he gave this to me today. Why? Because I don't want to bullshit you. I want to use it first, I want to make sure I do not get some of the things that are associated with whey protein powders and different types of protein powders: nausea, intestinal bloat, upset, constipation, diarrhea, any of that stuff. And I'm betting I don't, and then I'll endorse it, and then we'll see, and we'll talk about what's in it and its viability and all that. But protein supplements are good. Whey protein supplements, and in fact, whole foods are a lot more expensive. If you're talking about chicken, fish, tuna, lean red meats, you get older, maybe you don't have the same expendable income, you have kids, you have a house to maintain and all that. So then a protein supplement comes into play. Do they replace whole foods? Never, ever. Even though I'm on a real tight program with Evan right now, if I miss a meal, I will use that. That is what I will use. Number one. Number two, I mentioned intestinal upset. I was bitching a couple of weeks ago. You guys heard me saying, oh yeah, I got stomach bloat, my gut is bigger. When you get older, when I was a young guy, I got my waist down to 30 inches. I'm fairly lean right now. My waist is about 34 inches. It won't get much smaller. Things occur. You get some organomegaly, some inexplicable enlarging of the organs. You may have intra-organal fat, marbleized fat, fat. You may even be doing your abdominals incorrectly as far as the breathing goes, and I think I did a video on this. If not, I will. If you don't breathe properly, you could actually cause your stomach to bloat outward. Now I'm going to show you that in a video. I don't think I did a video on that. As a breathing technique you want to practice, particularly when you're doing crunches. So why does this happen? When you get older, your body doesn't produce the same digestive enzymes, protease, which breaks down protein, lipase, that breaks down fats. Your body just does not produce as much of that. It's much more difficult, and the intestinal flora is not as positive as far as breaking down foods for absorption. And I take a probiotic for that. So anything that helps me decrease the gas, decrease the bloat, I can tell I'm very sensitive to that. It depends on what I eat. If I'm going to introduce a new supplement, you've got to be wary of all that. So you've got to determine, do you just have a fat gut, or are there some other issues, or is it a combination? But a good probiotic can help right there. Now the final supplement, I'm going to just show you a little schematic here, a little model. This is me, not half the man I used to be. I lost a decade to injury and suffering, and woe is me. It was a shitty time, and I wish I had that time back. Can't get it back. I had 2 surgeries on each shoulder, 1 on the elbow, 18 on both wrists, on my back, on my stomach, and multiple on my leg and my knee. So listen, what happens when you get injured? What happens when you have surgery, which is another injury? What happens when you undergo almost all illness or disease processes? You suffer inflammation. And inflammation is a process that negates all the good you may be doing for your body. It sets your body back. It's not a good thing, and like I said, it's always present in any of these injurious or illness processes. So the whole game is to keep yourself out of inflammation. If we're talking about processed sugar, that's one of the biggest causes right there. And you think you're doing something good. You're eating pie, it tastes great. You're causing inflammation. You may be propagating a problem or making one worse that you already have. Since I've been a kid, for one reason or another, the guys who were training me when I was a little guy, 15 years old, along with desiccated liver, multivitamins, and protein powder, they always had me take omega-3 fish oils. This is a very good product by Celsius Nutrition, and it's very cost effective. Check out his website right here. I don't get anything out of this. He's just a good guy. I know him in the gym. I want to see him do well. We were talking about Universal Nutrition today, an old, big company. They just fired 200 people, went out of business just like that. So look, you're up, you're down, I'm just trying to help the kid out. I told him it has nothing to do with you. This is your chance. In any event, you can visit his website. I'll post it at the bottom. Check this stuff out. I got to be honest, when I was a kid, I didn't even know I was taking this. I just listened to others. But I took this, I've been taking this consistently for 40 years, and I will tell you now, all the injuries and all the things I've suffered, I never would have come out of it the way I did if my body was not a bedrock or buttressed or fortified with omega-3 fish oils my entire life. Now, just quickly, there's something in the body called telomeres. Their shortness or their length delegate, it's like an age marker. The shorter they become as you get older and as you do the wrong things to your body, the more you age. But the good thing is you can actually lengthen them and omega-3s help you do that. So it's a good anti-aging, it's a good anti-inflammatory. Understand one thing, you can counteract that. Everything can be counteracted. So just because you think you're taking this, it allows you to go eat crap. You're eating too many processed foods. You've got omega-6s. Too many of those counteract the omega-3s, and then you're either at a baseline or you're worse than you were. So be prudent in what you do. Know what your goal is. I get 10 people a day asking me things on here, and I got to come right back at them. On my email, I have to say, what is your goal? And they don't have a clearly defined goal, so I tell them nothing until they have a goal. Then I give them all the secrets. We are in the room of secrets, aren't we, Denise? In fact, I rarely let you in here. That's about it tonight, guys. A protein powder, a probiotic, and omega-3. I'm trying to save you money. Believe me, don't spend a lot on supplements. Do no supplements if you can help it. But as it stands, most people can't help it. You've got to have a little help. Know what your goal is. Think clearly. Go forth and conquer. Let me know your thoughts, statements, questions, considerations down below. Give me a thumbs up if you think it's warranted. You have a great night. Thank you.